one, and now this week it's time to go with two. It's time to get going here, So
no, I hear you, Coach. And let's not forget too, on Thursday I did give out the Cowboys. I said I liked them more than tease, but I said I'd take them straight too. Well, if I had to, I'd take them straight. But bigger, I did give out your Alabama team that nobody thought, and Saban even said it. He called before. He used to say, because Alabama was a favorite for 92 straight games. That's a run on that. Just think about that. 92 straight games. He said he said the media gives rat poison, meaning causing problems.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, guess what? This week you gave us rat poison, and it was yummy. Because they were 6.5 point dogs. And he said that, the team just ate it up. And, they were obviously motivated and wanted to, obviously win the game, and they looked really great. I mean, listen, you're talking about a Georgia team that was only giving up 6.9 points a game that they just dropped 41 on. So I think we'll see them possibly again in the playoffs and the championship, because I don't think they're going to want a rematch right away in the
I agree.
final round of the playoffs. So
I think we're looking at Georgia, Michigan, and Alabama, Cincy as the first round.
I agree
of that. So and hey, I want to give a quick shout out to one of my many stops in my high school career. As you see over it's this shoulder here, my right shoulder, Pleasantville High School. They went to the state title, came up a little short yesterday. They played a powerhouse, but young squad. So good luck. Hopefully we'll see them there next year. So good job, guys. And as we get ready for Sunday, you called it again Thursday, Nevada Nick. Let's just jump in right there with Thursday. It wasn't pretty. It was kind of it was terrible, I think, quite frankly.
Right.
That game was kind of hard to watch.
Yeah.
And but you called it.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, Dallas, they got the job done, but guys, I just have questions. My thing is, and I think everybody sees it but Dallas. I've been saying all year they need to run the football, obviously. And I think we all know for the Dallas to be successful, they need to have some sort of run game and work that off work the pass off the run. But what I don't get is why is Tony Pollard not being featured more? To me, he should be getting more touches than Zeke. And I mean, Zeke doesn't look healthy. I mean, it's just, and you see the big play from Pollard which is probably the biggest play of the game, the 58-yard touchdown. Credit to Stizz. He had him in fantasy, I believe. But, and this, Stizz, why is Dallas limiting his touches? Like, don't you agree? Shouldn't Pollard probably be the feature back for the Cowboys?
No, absolutely. First of all, I want to say what's up to Tom Scavetta. He's our Giants guy. He's our Giants insider.
Yeah, baby.
Big win, Tom. Congrats on that game this week. I know I didn't get a chance to tune into his show, review and preview, but I know he had to be talking mad shit, him and his boys, about that big win last week.
That's right, baby. Lucky, Tom.
Yeah, baby. Ringer can't catch a ball, and the freaking refs called a terrible holding call on a running play on us. Terrible. A very good show, though. I've checked them out a bunch of times. Stizz turned me on to it. Very good show. Good.
Absolutely. But I mean, to answer your question,
your show in the comments, we'll put it up and plug it.
Yeah, for sure. We'll plug it. But to answer your question, Nick, I don't know why they're not using Pollard a lot more. I mean, he's got way better physical abilities than Zeke right now. I mean, you could tell Zeke coming off of plays going to the sideline. I mean, he's gingerly jogging back to the huddle. I mean, he just doesn't look right, and you can tell he has no explosion with them legs. I mean, it's a shame. I mean, you can use him at goal line, and he'll be all right there. It's Pollard for the rest of the time. Get Pollard to get you there, and then feed Zeke the ball in the goal line.
To me, Zeke especially great goal line, 3rd and 4th and short. in the fourth quarter when you're trying to wear a defense down. Thunder and lightning. But, man, the explosion there is just more with Pollard. Coach, do you agree?
No, I don't. Zeke is a better pass blocker, and that's the only reason he's in the game more. Because look at how many times they're passing the football, and they need somebody. So he's a better pass blocker, plain and simple. That is the reason why Zeke is on the field more than Pollard.
Yeah, but do you think Zeke should be getting more touches than Pollard?
No, but I mean, it's part of, I mean, it's a tell. What are you going to do? Okay. Every time Pollard comes in, we're going to run the ball. So, I mean, you got to change it up.
Pollard's also better catching the football too. And as a receiver. So just to me, he should be, okay.
I think they got to work it. They can do a better job of working that and getting more even. You're right. But I think right now part of that is Zeke's a better pass blocker, and that's why they keep him in and on the field.
And then now also with Dallas, to me, Dak looks hurt. He looks hurt still with that. I believe it was a hamstring injury. Or quad injury. He just doesn't look right. He's missing a lot of throws. I mean, then don't get me wrong, he'll throw dimes too. But, Dallas doesn't look like that team that started. Obviously they were 1-3 till the win, on in their last 4 games till the win on Thursday. But against the Saints team that was missing both their tackles, Alvin Kamara, one of their best Davenport, one of their best defensive ends, and Taysom Hill was just awful. Wasn't a very impressive win to me for the Cowboys.
Well, Taysom Hill got hurt again too. He hurt.
I know. He had the Russell Wilson injury. They said exactly the same injury. Yeah. So let me ask you guys a question about that. Would you give up now on because it's just Taysom Hill doesn't look like a quarterback to me. Would you? And they just gave him now the contract's contingent on him getting the big money if he's the starting quarterback,
and he won't.
Right.
You know how they placed that.
and look, he was promised he was going to be the guy after Breeze, and I think it's telling you, when he can't out. The big thing, it wasn't even Winston. When they put in Simeon first over him, that told you everything to me.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I think obviously, and Coach, do you agree the Taysom Hill experiment at QB's over?
Yeah, I never thought he was a QB. I always thought he was just a gadget guy. He was that guy. He was what I always thought Tim Tebow should have been.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody ever used Tim Tebow like that, but Tim Tebow should have been Taysom Hill.
And he's a good player, and you can use him, and he can throw the ball a little bit, but he's not an every down quarterback,
right?
And he can be valuable to the team at running back. He can play tight end. He can be, and like I said, he can throw the football. So you could do some wildcat. You can throw the ball with him, but he's not going to be an every down quarterback. I mean, it was pretty bad, obviously, on Thursday night. Now, Eagles-Jets game. Obviously, we just find out about Jalen Hurts will be out. So it's going to be Minshew Mania today, for the Eagles.
All right, we're going to play some 80s porn music. I wish I had it queued up, man.
But look, guys, let me ask you this. There's been reports that Lurie basically is sold on Hurts and wants Hurts. And Howie doesn't want Hurts. Who do you agree with?
Wow.
I'll start with you, Coach.
Look, I like Hurts. I do. I like him. I just think when you see how good he is when they run the football.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you see how bad he is when you don't run the football. Right. And that's going to come with time. So you need to keep running the football. And I think that's the problem you have. It's a coaching issue. It's not a quarterback issue.
Okay. Stizz, who do you agree with more? Lurie, who goes with Hurts, or Howie, who doesn't believe in him?
I mean, unfortunately, Howie is pretty much ruling the roost here. Right. But no, I think you got to give Jalen Hurts, at least another year. You got to see what this kid's made of.
Right.
I agree with Coach. You have to continue to run the ball. You got to take some of this pressure off him just to see what he's all about. Because if you keep on forcing him, he's gonna be throwing negative plays, and he's not gonna look good. So
I agree with both you guys. You do got to give him another year just to see if he can improve his game. There's a lot of things I like about Jalen. I didn't like the mistake at the end of the first half last week. There's some things to clean up. But to me, put some more weapons on the outside around him. You got a good line. The only thing I don't like is what we're seeing. He can't run so much because things like this are going to happen where you get hurt. You can't run him. You got to protect him a little bit more. I understand you want to use him for the RPOs because obviously it opens things up, but you got to protect him a little bit too. So I wouldn't run him as much as they are. He was running the ball a lot there. And, I know Lamar's gotten through, but trust me, when these other quarterbacks are getting hurt and they're not running the ball, their day will come. So that's the only thing that concerns me in regards to Jalen Hurts. Now, another question I have, Miles Sanders is averaging like over 6 yards a carry. And it just seems like the Eagles last week, Boston Scott got more touches. I think he did double the amount of touches. What do you guys think the reasoning is, especially now? It seems like, Miles, they would never give him the ball. They wouldn't run. He gets hurt. They start running the ball. And now he's back. And he was supposed to be the bell cow and be the feature back. And they won't feature him. What do you guys think the reasoning for that is? I'll start with you, Stizz.
Coaching.
Yeah.
Inept coaching.
Yeah.
I mean, what else can you blame it on, right?
Right.
I mean, Sirianni's the one calling these plays, and they're getting away from. I mean, it's not rocket science, fellas. It's not.
Right.
We see it. If we see it as a talk show, what are these guys not seeing?
Right.
I just don't understand. You have to have balance. Doesn't matter what team you're on. I don't care if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, Buffalo Bills, whatever, with high power offenses. You still have to have some sort of balance.
Right.
And they just haven't done it consistently.
Right. Coach.
Consistently enough.
Yeah. Coach, what do you think? Why Miles Sanders isn't getting the touches?
Well, I don't know. It might be. It goes back to coaching, but I just think the Boston Scott issue was just an anomaly, just because he's always played big against the Giants, and I think it was just that him playing against the Giants, they gave him more, but. But he's your bell cow. He needs to touch the ball 20 times a game. I mean, and he's not, when he gets the ball, you see it. And I don't know. I think does Sirianni not like him or something? Is there an issue there? What's going on? But
one thing I wonder, I think he's due not this year, next year for his new contract. And I almost wonder if that's part of the reason, because he had 7 carries for 61 yards. Boston Scott has 14 for 54. And it's like gave the guy half the carries and he had 7 more yards. Right. I mean, he's averaging 6 yards a carry. He's your most explosive back. Look, I get it. Boston Scott can kind of hide behind the big guys. I have no problem with giving him some touches, but there's nobody with the explosion and the way to get to that second level like Miles Sanders. And to me, I honestly believe he could be a top 5 to 10 back in the league. He's just never really been given the opportunity. All right, guys, on to who wins today, Eagles or Jets. Who do you got, Coach?
Well, should I pass on this? This is kind of my lock of the week, though, this game.
Oh, okay. We'll wait till later. All right. Stizz, Eagles or Jets?
I got the Birds. I mean, how do you go with either team, really? I mean, the way they're both playing, to be honest with you, it's almost as sad as to say as a coin flip.
Yeah, it's the lesser of two evils, I think, too. I think the Eagles are a little bit better than the Jets.
It is the lesser of two evils. And you know what? Don't be surprised if Gardner Minshew comes in and makes them look like, playoff caliber contention. You know what I mean? You never know. That's what happens in football.
Stizz, that's one thing. Look, the rushing game isn't going to be as good because Hurts brings that element, obviously, with the danger to run that helps the rushing game. But Jets don't have a good run defense.
No, I know.
What I do think you're going to see, though, is a better passing game with Minshew, because I think he's just a more experienced quarterback. I think you're going to see a better passing offense today under Minshew just because of sheer experience and being in the league longer. So I am kind of interested to see that. All right, Coach, on to your Giants.
Before we get there, I will say this about that game, though. But here's the thing: be very, very careful, because I think that Sirianni's going to go pass happier more.
He could.
Because it's Minshew and not Hurts. I mean, he could abandon the running game completely because of this.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
now you see it with these coaches. They did it with Wentz. With they think they got their Superman back there, and it's just like the Colts. They started on Wentz too early, and then they started giving that ball to Jonathan Taylor, and they go on the run. Like, you got to do what your identity is and what wins, not because you think you got Superman back there. Aaron Rodgers, prime example. They never ran the ball. They couldn't win. LaFleur goes in there, starts running the ball, and look at the 3 years they've had so far with LaFleur. LaFleur is averaging, I think, 12 or 13 wins a year because they're running the football. And the defense is a little bit better, but they're running the football. So, Coach, on to your Giants-Dolphins game. And
big game today.
Not a great time to be playing the Dolphins.
Yeah.
They start 0-7 or what it was. Now you get them when they're on this nice run. Tua is playing much better, obviously. Danny Dimes is out. I'm going to start with the Dolphins here, though, Coach. Tua's actually really improved over the last 4 or 5 weeks. You're seeing Jalen Waddle really start to emerge. I'm going to start with Stizz. Stizz, would you give Tua another year now?
Yeah, I would. I like what I see, so far this year. I think he can lead them, to at least be respectable in the division. Okay. So, yeah, I would give him one more year.
Coach,
I'm sorry to backtrack. I'm sorry to backtrack, too. Miles made a couple good points over there, which I kind of thought about. He talked about Miles Sanders dancing too much in the backfield, which I agree with.
He does.
That's a great point. He's not a straight up the middle go type of back. He likes to dance around, and that's why he's not doing so well.
What's going on, Miles? That's my brother-in-law, and he's right, and that's why it runs in the family, the football knowledge. So also to the dancing in the backfield. But no,
Miles, run while you can. Run, run now.
You think Miles would stand up for Miles Sanders, though? Well, Miles Sanders too had the fumble inside the 5-yard line, which I think might have cost him as well. And then he also said about sitting Hurts next week. Ooh, that's a great one. Wow.
I don't think you can do that.
I don't think you can do it, but Eagles fans will be clamoring for it, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
I'm sure they will. Now, Coach, to you on Tua, do you bring Tua back next year, or are you moving on and looking for a new guy?
No, because I think Tua maybe brings up his value that you're going to be able to at least get something in return for him.
Okay.
So I'm moving on because you look at what the rest of the division and what Allen and Jones are doing, and you're in the basement again. Last year everybody was like, oh, here we are. Things have changed. Well, they haven't. Buffalo is the only one that's closed the gap on New England a little bit, and you're still down there, feeding off the Jets. So
there he is.
Hey, listen, man, we got a star coming in, Uncle Bill Wilson. the guys are a bold prediction insider. Okay,
yeah.
I just hired him on the side. This is who I get my information from, Uncle Bill.
Hey,
he put out, I think, 6 catches for 80 yards and a touchdown for Odell Beckham. Right around there, Uncle Bill. You can let me know if that's correct. He ended up with like 5 for 81 and a touchdown. He was like a yard off and a catch off. Unbelievable.
Wow.
I'll tell you.
Look at that, Bill coming through.
Anybody named Uncle Bill's good with me because Uncle Bill's Pancakes in Ocean City, man. One of my favorite spots. Now, Coach, Danny Dimes out today.
Right.
Coach, he is? Wait a minute. Coach said he was playing.
Yeah.
Coach Clement, he was playing on Thursday.
Yeah, Coach thought, they were bringing in Mike Glennon to, confuse everybody. Coach, let me ask you this. I mean, is it time for the Giants? And Coach, you're a Giants fan. You've been the last few years, it's just you've been rebuilding. Is it time to completely blow it up, clean sweep, quarterback, GM, coach, and bring in fresh blood and really try to start from the scratch?
Yes. I've been saying that. It is. It is. I was never a Danny Dimes guy.
Or Gettleman.
Not from day one. Never. So that. Joe Judge, I feel bad. I think the guy kind of got dealt some bad cards with just because it's the Giants. The Giants forced him to get Garrett.
Too,
Right, and Gettleman. And so I honestly think, he's not Dimes is not a Joe Judge guy anyway. So I think you bring in, and I said this, Trubisky, Garoppolo, one of those stopgap guys that's going to be serviceable for 2 years so that you can go fix the rest of your problems and then go draft a quarterback that's going to be your staple for the next, 10, 15 plus years.
Okay. Now, on to AB. AB got suspended, and he's out 3 games. Bruce Arians says that they'll talk about his status after the 3-game suspension. And there's some rumors, obviously that they may let him go. Personally, I think that might be a mistake with, him and Brady's relationship.
You froze up.
No, it must have been you. I think, Stizz, did I freeze up for you?
Yeah, you froze up a little bit.
No, he said I didn't, so then it's your internet there, Coach.
My internet.
Yeah, if I don't break up for Stizz, it's your internet, buddy.
Okay. All right.
So AB,
but then I would have froze, right? I don't know. Go ahead.
You're outthinking yourself, Coach. Just don't think too much. Like Mike McCarthy, you're overthinking it.
He's thinking outside the box.
Now, do you agree with releasing AB? I'll start with Stizz.
I mean, how many times you want to give these guys chances? I just don't get it. These guys go from team to team and great teams where they have a shot at the Super Bowl. Right. Who's the player from Cleveland that drug problem?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
The receiver.
Yeah, and for some reason his name
Josh Gordon.
Yeah. How many chances did he get? Right. on these different teams. And, it's going to be the same thing with AB. I just don't get it. I don't think Bruce Arians is going to put up with it, to be honest with you. I know it could be a mistake. I like the camaraderie. I like his physical ability. I like what he brought to the team this year so far. But come on, dude. I mean, really? Yeah. Falsifying vaccine cards? I mean, right. You don't think you're going to get caught? I just don't think Bruce Arians is going to take it. And I think after 3 weeks, I think he has a suspension for. I think he's gone.
Coach, do you agree with it?
No, here's what it is. So let's be clear. This happened in training camp. He's since been vaccinated. Okay. He's because the NFL. Come on, you think the NFL? He was able to pull the wool over the NFL's eyes this long? Right. No, it's not flying. It was something that was done in training camp. He has since been vaccinated.
More from a football standpoint.
But yes, okay. You it comes out now because he's trying
to get extorted basically.
But again, right? And here's the thing, and I'll tell you exactly why. Tom Brady is the reason why he won't get cut. And Tom Brady's not letting that happen.
And that's exactly. I agree with you, Coach. That's what I think. I think Brady, who has been, standing up for him, I think he's going to stand up for him again. I think Brady knows he wants him. I think Brady knows he gives them a chance to win. And let's not forget that defense has not been as good this year. So they're going to need to score points. You saw what losing Gronk meant to Brady, and I think AB's on that level too. I mean, he just adds another element to that team, with weapons. And, like I said, the defense hasn't been healthy. The pass rush hasn't been as good. I think they need AB, and that's the thing too. I think Brady will obviously he's going to stand up for AB. So I'm curious to see what happens. Let's see. 8. After this one screw up, he's going. Yeah, you're right about that, Uncle Bill. He did say you one screw up and he's gone. So you're right about that. You can't question that. He is right, Uncle Bill, saying that. Bruce Arians said if he screws up once, he's gone.
Right.
You almost gotta back up your comment. I do see your point there, Uncle Bill. I agree with you. Now we're going to get into some teams.
Hold on. Wait a second. I want a quick side story. Did you guys hear about the team that accidentally called it was a high school basketball team doing a group chat and accidentally got a guy from the Buccaneers?
Tom Brady, right?
Yeah.
And then no, it wasn't. It was a DB, and then all of a sudden they went around the room and they talked to Tom Brady, came on and talked to him. I think that was pretty cool. Like 15 minutes they spent, went around the locker room. It was pretty cool.
Sammy says
what's up, Sammy?
The Washington football team going to extend it to 4 today. Sammy, sorry, buddy. Don't agree with you. Coach, my boy Jay, and he's right.
Yeah.
Giants still suck.
Yeah, Jay, you're sucking in the glory hole right now. Why don't you get out of the glory hole and see the daylight, buddy?
It's the truth. The Giants still suck. Wait, Jay, wait till we see him in Philly. That's all. They got lucky. Rager can't catch a freaking cold.
And he can't catch a cold buck naked in Antarctica, but big deal.
And Coach, I don't know. I think Coach might have, going around the, behind the rafters with one of the officials, if you know what I mean, because there was some terrible calls there.
Oh, man.
Oh, look at Sammy. That's great, Sammy. Sammy goes, you have been great the past 3 weeks. Hey, my picks have been good, Sammy. I've been hot lately. I don't remember all 3 weeks I thought the Washington football team would lose. But, hey, look, Sammy, I'll give you credit. They've played good. Tampa Bay was a huge win, especially after Chase Young going down. An injury like that, sometimes teams can kind of go in the tank. And Heineke, he's got some juice. I like, how he extends some plays. I like his passion. I don't know if he's a starting quarterback, but he's definitely a hell of a backup. There's no doubt about that. And Jay, of course, we all know, Rager sucks. And for the rest of our lives, we're going to have to think of Justin Jefferson playing on the Vikings instead of on
year after year after year.
I know.
Hey, look, Sammy, I don't think that Chase Young is the leader on that defense, and that's why I think it's Allen is the leader on that defense, and I think he's really rallied the troops, and that's why they're playing much better. I don't think Young is the guy there.
And Jay, that's a great question because that's a huge game today in the AFC playoff picture. It's a tough one because the Chargers have been like Dr. Jekyll and Dr. Hyde. You know what I mean? It's like 1 week, wow, and then you're playing the Ravens and getting smoked, or but the problem's that rushing defense. I'm going to go with the Bengals at home. I trust the Bengals more than I trust the Chargers right now. I got the Chargers going to 500 at 6-6.
I'll tell you what a big difference between Herbert from his rookie year last year to this year, huh?
Yeah.
The guy was the second coming of Jesus last year.
Right.
Really, I loved him. I had him in all 3 fantasy leagues last year, and he was my savior. He got me to 2 Super Bowls actually.
And I'll have a question about that later in the show. But sure.
But, this year it's the total polar opposite. He is like Jekyll and Hyde.
What's crazy, Stizz, is you got the improved offensive line. You got weapons all over the field. Mike Williams, Keenan Allen. I don't understand it. It's kind of like Josh Allen, same thing. He's kind of had a step back.
Sophomore slump.
Yeah. Well, that's possible. Now let's get talking to some teams that are really struggling. I'm going to start with the Rams. Look, it's the same thing with Stafford. Coach alluded to this in the beginning of the year. Stafford's 0-17 now against teams that are 5 wins or more over 500. So that doesn't bode well, obviously, for them, going into the playoffs. But what's wrong with the Rams? I'll start with you, Coach.
Well, I think Stafford is what we thought he was in Detroit. It hasn't changed. For years, everybody said, if he was on a better team, he's on a better team. We're seeing the same Matt Stafford. And so I think that the coaching staff they're going to be clamoring for a quarterback, and they have no draft picks for the next 10 years. So I don't know what they're going to do. And it's really a struggle. And I think they got to lean more on that running game. I think they got to get back and run the football more.
Right. Stizz?
And their running back, Darrell Henderson, may be out today. So they may have to resort to the New England prodigy, Sony Michel, today. Right. I don't know. The Rams started off hot beginning of the season, and then they just they tapered off against subpar teams. Some, they had Green Bay, they got just beat up by. So you can't play that way against playoff bound teams.
And that's the thing. They play the Titans and Green Bay, who are good teams, They also lost to the Niners too, and that's when the Niners weren't playing great football.
Right.
The Niners, for some reason, have just had their, for some reason had their number. I don't really know why, but I just think it's a combination of things, guys. One, a lot of people haven't talked about their defense is not playing near as good as it did last year. And then obviously Stafford a pick 6 in 3 straight games. That's not good. I do think that's part of the problems. But also, too, I think McVay has done a little bit of I got my quarterback now who can throw the ball so well down the field that he's not relying on that run. McVay, he likes to run the ball. We saw early on that was their thing, run the ball and play action. But I don't think they can run the ball, especially when they lose Cam Akers earlier in the year. So I think that's the issue. Now, look, guys, the Bucs were 7-5, and Robert Woods' injury too is another one because I think that's big. Beckham just hasn't been able to get involved yet, really, with that offense. I know he had the touchdown, but it was a meaningless touchdown. They were down 3 scores, I believe, when he scored it last week. I just. And look, this is a team with a lot of new pieces. So, look, last year, guys, I'm going to ask you this. The Bucs were 7-5, okay? And they ended up going on a run and winning the Super Bowl. The Rams are 7-4. Is there a chance that they can still turn it around and make a Super Bowl run? I'll start with you, Stizz.
Always a chance. And, that's the team that I went with earlier in the season.
Right.
So, what am I going to do? I can't shy away from them. So, I'm going to go with them and hope they do collectively get their offense together.
Right. And look, today's the get-right game, obviously, against the Jags. You get right, and then you got a game against the Cardinals in a huge game.
That's the biggest one, I think, of the rest of the season is the Cardinals.
Right.
Baltimore may give them a little bit of problems, but really that's their 2 toughest games the rest of the season. This week they got a layup. 12.5-point favorite against Jacksonville. They should blow them out the water.
Right. Now, Coach, can the Rams turn it around and make a Super Bowl run?
They can, but I don't think they will.
Right.
I just don't think I just don't think that Matthew Stafford's the guy to do that. And until they can get back to the running game and hey, look, don't run with the don't run over the Jags just yet. They did go up to Buffalo and pull one out there. So, just don't automatically assume it's a layup,
No, I agree, but 3 straight losses, man. The Rams lose to the Jags. We're in big trouble. Stizz, what were you gonna say?
No, nothing. I was just agreeing with Coach.
Now, one thing I question too, in regards to the Rams. So I lost it. And I lost my train of thought too. See, Stizz, oh no, that's
a little partly cloudy this morning.
No, it is a partly cloudy. No, I don't think the Rams can make a run either. And my reasoning is, I like the team, but they're 2.5 games back from the Cardinals. So even beating them, they're going to need the Cardinals to lose some games here. I don't see them catching them for the division. And I just don't think they can go on the gauntlet the Bucs did last year. Because let's not forget, the Bucs won those road games with no fans. You're going to have to go into 3 tough environments on the road against fans. And it's Stafford, too, who doesn't really have success about good teams. Sorry, I had a brain fart there. I completely forgot what I was going to say. But no, that's what I think is going to be tougher. The Bucs, you didn't have to.
Thank you, Joe.
And Joe's right. Joe's been saying it. He's right. I agree. Joe, I'm on the Stafford blows trains with you.
Let me tell you something. Stafford can blow all he wants as long as he gets me 2 more touchdowns for my big prop bet. That's all I care about.
That was Stizz looking good on his early prop bets. With futures we had. Stafford, just give Stizz the 2 more touchdowns. Remember last year? Stizz had it last year. It's funny. He had Kyler, and Kyler made him sweat it out. And then did they sit him the last game or something happened?
Well, he hurt himself. He hurt his ankle.
Yeah,
he hurt his
something
ankle.
happened. Yeah, but Stizz, it was like a lock, and then Stizz made Stizz sweat that one out too. Now, talking about teams with struggles, what's going on with Seattle? I mean, you talk about a team. Obviously last year, the first half of the year, it's let Russ cook. they looked so great. And then, and the defense was terrible. And then it was the reverse in the second half where the defense was playing much better, but the offense couldn't play well. And now this year, they just look completely off. It's just, they're a bad team, guys. They looked bad on Monday night. 3 interceptions, maybe not TDs, Joe says. But
I hope not.
Let me ask you, and I'll start with you, Coach. What's going on in Seattle? What's wrong?
Well, I think the rumors are true about Russ and Pete Carroll, and I think we're just seeing that now. I think, Russ is kind of, pissed off that, they haven't been able to put enough pieces around him. Right. But partly that's his fault. He's taking up a lion's share of the money. They can't afford to pay anybody when you're paying a guy, $38 million or whatever it is. So, but I think that gets blown up too in Seattle. I think Pete's gone. I think Russ is gone, and I think they start over.
Stizz, what do you think's wrong in Seattle? You got Lockett, you got Metcalf. Is it a chemistry issue? I understand the Wilson injury, but they didn't look great before the Wilson injury. What's going on, Stizz?
Listen, Russ ain't cooking. Russ ain't even baking. Okay, he's not doing much of anything. 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions the last 3 games since he's been back. Very, very pedestrian for caliber quarterback like that, high profile.
Right.
I don't know if he's still banged up. That finger's still banged up or what. Issues with Metcalf. His number one go-to, and he's not going to him.
Didn't he have his first catch Monday night in the fourth quarter?
Yep, late.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
one catch for 13 yards as your number one receiver. How is that possible for any team? I don't know. I think the chemistry's off, like you said, Nick.
Yeah,
I think he's still banged up. That's another reason. The team is in shambles. No shot at making the playoffs now, and we'll see what happens after this year. I think for sure he's gone. I don't think he's staying in Seattle.
Yeah, that's my next question. I think one of Russ or Pete's definitely gone, but I think there's a real chance they're both gone. But my question is, in regards to Russ, guys, are you going to be able to get much compensation for him? Somebody will give you a first-round pick because it's Russell Wilson, but they won 3, and they're not getting close to it for a 33-year-old quarterback that hasn't looked good for pretty much over a season and a half right now.
Right. I agree.
They've always kind of had a lack of a running game in Seattle, and the offensive line is part of it. And Joe says, bet the Bolts and thank them later. So that's a tough one, Joe. That really is. I think we might see a lot of Joe Mixon against them today.
I'll tell you what. It's great that our followers give us bold predictions, give us locks. I like that. We have a nice family here of degenerates. Of a group
What do we should just change the show to the Degenerates Are Us show, or
Yeah.
All right, guys. Now I want to talk about the AFC. So the top 2 teams in the AFC right now are the Titans and the Ravens. Okay. And in my opinion, I think they're both headed in the wrong direction. And I think they're both – I wouldn't be surprised if one of them doesn't even make the playoffs. But I don't think either of them will make a playoff run. I don't think they're going to have a playoff win. Do you agree with me? I'll start with you, Coach.
Yeah, because, first of all, how are the Patriots not in the conversation here?
Well, no, but I'm just saying right now the 1 and 2 seed are the Titans and the Ravens. So
I thought the Patriots beat the Titans. How are they in front of them? And whatnot, but that's fine.
Have 3 losses,
but it's fine.
Patriots have 4.
Okay,
yeah.
I don't think the Titans win a playoff game. You're right. I don't think they do. The Ravens, on the other hand, it depends who they draw, but I think they get out of the first round.
Okay. Stizz, what do you think?
I got to agree with Coach. I think Baltimore maybe gets 1 win their first week of the playoffs, and Tennessee, basically gets booted out. They're too injury too injury riddled right now, Tennessee. I mean,
Right.
they're missing a lot of big pieces for them to make a run in the playoffs, I think. But
Right.
no, I think they're both heading in the wrong direction for sure.
Yeah, I honestly, guys, I don't see the Ravens even getting one.
Joe, you missed it because you didn't listen to Coach.
I said the Giants were gonna win last week too. I did. Like I said, the Eagles. There's not much I don't know. I don't trust. And one thing I want to say on the AFC too, guys, real quick. Don't you think everybody's kind of, and Stizz, give a credit to Stizz. It was the team when we said who were the team with 4 losses that you would take. Are people sleeping on the Chiefs a little bit now? I mean, look, I do think the Patriots are the best team too, but man, you're talking about a team that's been in the Super Bowl the last 2 years. Are people sleeping on the Chiefs? I'll start with you, Stizz.
Yeah. I mean, they're getting healthier. CEH is back. I mean, look at that offense, man. How do you go against that offense, that prolific offense? So, yeah, I mean, that was one of the teams that was, I don't want to say it was a no-brainer because the way they were playing and just giving up a ton of points, but they got the caliber to definitely make a move for sure.
Sammy goes to Chiefs themselves are sleeping.
And
I'll say,
they were for a while,
Coach. I think the Chiefs, the defense is getting better. I think they do still have some trouble on offense. But, man, all you need to do is if that defense is playing well and Mahomes gets going, the Chiefs can – I mean, we all know, obviously, Chiefs can play with anybody in the league. And I think people are sleeping on the Chiefs, and they're getting better at the right time. If they can fix that offense now in the next few weeks, watch out. Watch out because that AFC's wide open. Coach, are people sleeping on the Chiefs?
I don't know that they're sleeping on them because they're starting to play good football and, so I don't think so. And you're going to start seeing them make some noise in that AFC West.
Okay.
They are who we thought they were.
There you go.
Now, guys, and look, I love it because this is old school for me. Before, now it's the Sunday night game. But back in the day, the Monday night football was the thing. That was the game. And we got a great one tomorrow night with the Bills and the Patriots. And I'm really excited for it. But, guys, let me ask you, are you surprised how quickly Belichick's gotten this turned around? I mean, this was a team, obviously, that started 2-4. I mean, I know it's Belichick, but still, when you talk about after this year, a lot of people were killing Belichick. He can't win without Brady. Brady got the Super Bowl. Now Brady had the upper hand in the who was more important to the Super Bowl, Brady than Belichick. Are you surprised that Belichick got it turned around so quickly, Coach?
No.
Okay.
Not at all. I mean, it's Bill Belichick. You remember everyone, his whole defense opted out last year.
Right.
There was no defense there. He had no quarterback. And I think in the beginning it was, the rookie quarterback. It was just getting him used to the game and, settling in and finding those things that he does well and building on them. And now they've kind of got it going and just watch out. I think New England's the team to we'll see in probably AFC Championship, if not the Super Bowl.
And Joe, you're right. He taking off the TB12. Mac Jones got the brand of MJ10 now.
Yeah.
So that's the a trademark. That's what you call it. Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
he trademarked that now. So he is. Right about that. Now with me, no, I'm not surprised. I mean, obviously it's Belichick. I mean, I didn't think I saw as much this year, but I mean, like you said, it's Bill Belichick. Stizz, are you surprised he turned it around so quick?
Nah, not at all. I mean, look what he does with players year after year. Like Coach alluded to. I mean, all his defensive guys were gone. I mean, he just makes teams better. And look, man, he's trying to. He can't one up them because he's already one behind Tom Brady. But he's trying to even things out with Tom Brady. Trust me.
Right. Now, who do you guys got Monday night? Coach, start with you. Bills or Patriots?
Patriots.
Stizz, who do you got?
I got Buffalo at home. They play them again in a couple of weeks, so I think both teams win their home games respectively. So I got Buffalo this time around, and I got New England, in a couple of weeks.
Okay, who wins the division, Coach?
New England.
Stizz.
The Buffalo Bills.
Okay, I think Bills win this game. Patriots win the division. That's how I think it's going to play out. Yeah, I mean, I think this is the right spot for the Bills. Patriots on a 6-game win streak. I think there's talk about snow and some weather, which would favor the Patriots, you think? Because they can run the ball better. But
yeah.
I think it's going to be a crazy game. I like Buffalo. And Uncle Bill said it himself. Tough call with the weather prediction. And Uncle Bill
the insider again.
Right, there he is. Now, Bengals Chargers. Another, like we said, big game. Coach, are the Bengals for real? Is this a team that can make a playoff run? Not make it to the Super Bowl thing, but win a couple games in the playoffs?
I think they are. I think they can make a run.
Okay.
I think they're for real. I think they are.
Stizz?
I hope they make a run. I mean, what excitement! I said last week about them being. I would have thought them being a division winner and making a run over Baltimore and Pittsburgh and Cleveland. I hope to see it, but we'll see what happens these next couple games. If they can play like they've been the last few, then yes, I think they can make a run.
Right. I guess it's a tough one because they've been so up and down. You lose to the Jets and all, but I like the team. I like Joe Burrow. That defense is much improved.
Great offense too.
Yeah. No, you're right. I think they can too. I'm gonna agree with you. Now, one more question for you guys. I'm curious about this one too. Who do you take, Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert? I'll start with you, Stizz. If you're a team and you could have either quarterback, who are you going with?
I'm going Herbert. I'm going Herbert from what I've seen last year. I know this year's a little bit different, but I'm going Herbert. He's a bigger guy. He has a stronger arm, in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going Herbert.
Who you got, Coach?
Man, I really like Herbert. I think I'll go with him. I mean, Burrow's really good too. I mean, he's showing a lot. It's tough. I would be happy with either one, to be honest with you.
But I'm going to go Joe Burrow. To me, he's got obviously he has Chase this year, but he doesn't. He has the worst offensive line, and I would say he doesn't have. I mean, look, you got Mixon and Chase, but I think the weapons are better in with the Chargers. With you got Eckler in the backfield, you got Allen, you got who's the tight end? Is it Jared Cook for the Chargers?
Jared Cook, yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously you got Mike Williams. I think the weapons are better in the Chargers. I would actually go with this point at Joe Burrow. And look, there he is. Surprise, surprise, Joe Fuller agrees with me. Yeah, I think it's Burrow too. I really do. And look, yeah, they are, Sammy. Yeah, I agree. Like I said, I'm a Burrow guy. And that's crazy going up last year with the year, as Stizz alluded to, that Herbert had. So,
yeah. All
right, Stizz, we'll get into some of your fantasy advice here. I'm curious, Stizz. We're getting here to late in the year. Who was the waiver wire pickup of the year to you?
I mean, I think hands down it's got to be Cordarrelle Patterson from the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, this guy's a hybrid. This guy, they chalked him off as a running back wide receiver hybrid, getting more action in the passing game than in the running game. They brought Mike Davis in thinking that he was going to be the number one. And that's what everybody thought. That's how everybody drafted him as a number one. Cordarrelle Patterson, 9 touchdowns so far this year. And he's just looking great. I mean, week after week, fantasy-wise, he's just been unbelievable. Since week 2, actually. Right away, he basically took the job away from Mike Davis.
Yeah.
And to me, I mean, that was the biggest waiver wire pickup of the league. Whoever got him, unfortunately, wasn't me. Really made out well.
Yeah, and still sort of, but to me, I think you're going to start seeing more of these guys because you see what Patterson's doing, and you're almost like, man, you wonder if teams should have done it years before because he's always been a great kick returner, a player with the ball in his hands who can make plays. You're seeing it with the Niners, putting Deebo Samuel in the backfield. So I think it's something that a trend we could really start seeing is putting some wide receivers in the backfield. Stizz, who's your start of the week?
Start of the week, I think, is Javonte Williams, running back for the Denver Broncos against Kansas City.
Okay.
Listen, man, finally, I've been waiting all year. I have Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams both on one of my fantasy leagues.
Yeah.
And I mean, both mediocre. They talked about Javonte Williams taking over this backfield at some point when Melvin Gordon was on a one-year contract. Well, it never happened. I mean, they pretty much use him 50-50. Now he's taking over the backfield today. MG3's got a hip injury. Javonte Williams going over 100 scrimmage yards in 2 of the last 3 games, which is huge. KC's dead center of the pack ranking in running back yards against. 23.5 yards per game, ranked 16th in the league. So I think Javonte has a huge game today. It's a Sunday night game too, so it's going to be a good one. Nice division game. And I'm going Javonte Williams. Get him in your lineups. Sit of the week. We'll kind of, we talked about this team earlier. Listen, DK Metcalf, the guy, they're playing San Fran today. DK Metcalf, the last time he was seen, it was on the back of a milk carton up at your local Wawa. Okay? The guy just, we alluded to it earlier. Coach alluded to it. 1 catch, 13 yards last week against Washington, and that was late in the game. They're just not using them. 8 catches, 70 yards, 0 touchdowns in the 3 games that Russell Wilson's been back. That's his number 1 receiver. I don't know what's going on with this team. Washington last Monday night, they were the 4th best matchup for wide receivers, and this kid's getting 1 catch for 13 yards. I got to put him on the shelf. I got to wait to see something out of him and see if the chemistry gets better between him and Russ, and then just go from there.
Yeah, and Jared, Coach knew a guy. He obviously left to go to the NFL, but they've had Pitt headed in the right direction for years now. And, impressive them winning the ACC championship. And Coach's buddy, who we had on the show before, obviously had a part in that happening.
Right, building that team. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've been saying for years, Jared, about expanding it. You got to, man.
Yeah, and no, definitely. And the 4, we said earlier, it's going to be obviously Alabama 1, Michigan 2, we think, or those 2 vice versa. But I think it's going to be Georgia, Cincinnati, Michigan, Georgia, and Cincinnati, Alabama in the first in the semifinal because they don't want the rematch of the SEC championship.
Right.
All right, now we're gonna get into my picks. I'm gonna start off. Let me pull this. I gotta get to my banners here. I'll give my teaser of the week. I got 2 teasers for you guys this week. All right, 2 teasers. We're gonna go real special. My first teaser: Vikings -1. Against Detroit. Obviously, Dalvin Cook's out, but so's Swift on the Lions. And Swift's basically been that offense for the Lions. So I'm going to go Vikings -1. And I know, look, you haven't had Murray or Hopkins, so I am a little concerned. But, Cardinals off a bye. I'm going to go Vikings -1 and Cardinals -1.5 in a 2-team teaser. Then I'm going to give you my 3-team teaser lock of the decade. I got Tampa Bay -0.5. Obviously, in a big game against the Falcons, I got the Colts at pick, and they're in a must-win against the Texans, and then a get-right game for the Rams -2.5 versus the Jags. I love it. I don't see it. Could look? We all know we've all been taught anything at any given Sunday, but I feel very confident in this 3-team tease. This is what they call a 3-team 10-point teaser. All books. Casinos might have it, but all the sports book have it. So I'm gonna give out that one as well. And then I'm gonna go with I really like the Raiders today, -1.5. This line, a lot of Washington money coming in.
Wow.
Let's not forget Washington on a short week. Played Monday night against Seattle. Raiders played on Thanksgiving, so they got the extended break.
Right.
I'm going to go Raiders with the extra couple days rest at home. I think they find a way to win. Raiders -1.5. Then I'm going to go to the Ravens-Steelers game. I like the Steelers today. Call me nuts, but
you're nuts.
Okay, that's fine. And let's not forget, though, the last, I don't know, I think they said it's last 15 matchups. These games have been decided by a point. That's it. A point is the average. That's how close these games are.
Have you seen Ben Roethlisberger play this season?
Have you seen Lamar play last week? Did you watch that game?
All right, but I'm just telling you.
Give me that 4.5. Call me tonight, Coach, after the game.
I will.
Give me a call and say, Nevada, Nick, thank you for making that pick. Don't bet him, Coach, because we know you definitely want to go near my side than your 2-8 and 1.5.
It's 3. It's 3. 3.
But and then look, I hope I don't regret it. I'm going to go to my Eagles. -5. Man. Oh man, I mush you. You mush everybody. I think Minshew's going to help them throw the ball. I think they're going to run the ball. I think you're going to see a little bit more of a dynamic offense out of the Eagles today. I'm going to go with the Eagles -5, and I'll give my lock here. My lock is shit. How did I do that? All right, my lock is the Steelers +4.5. That'll be my lock, and I'll give you another one too. I like the Bills tomorrow night. I like the Bills.
You could have waited till tomorrow night to give out the Bills, but it's okay.
Yeah, well, Coach, I don't know. Tomorrow night, I don't know what's. My thing is, I might have to. You call out my.
You got to work the glory hole. I see.
No, I might have to take a one day strike after you question my pick. When I've got like 5, it's like 5 or 6 locks in a row. I think, and he's questioning my picks over here.
Unbelievable.
All right, now, Stizz, your prop bet of the week.
Prop bet of the week. I'm staying on the train. I've been going with this team the last few weeks, the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going Joe Mixon over 106.5 total yards. That's rushing and receiving. The guy's been hot lately. I'm gonna stick with these Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay, I like it. All right, Stizz, what's your lock of the week?
My lock of the week. I'm going Mr. Tom Brady, the GOAT. Tampa Bay -11 points on the road at Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta just packed it in, man. They have nothing to play for. They just look like they're ready for next year, if there is going to be a next year with Atlanta Falcons. So yeah, I'm going Tampa Bay. I think a big game for Tom Brady, and yeah. Don't forget, before we end the show, too, Nick, we didn't give our bold predictions out yet, so I'm not sure if we're doing that this week or not.
Yeah, we can do it. All right, now, Coach,
I can't wait to hear coaches.
Well, as much as it pains me, every fiber in my body, but I think the Eagles don't lose 2 in a row in the Meadowlands.
Right.
So I'm going with the Eagles.
All right, Coach.
All right, now my bold prediction was the Bills will win Monday night, but then the Patriots will win the division. That's my bold prediction. Stizz, what's yours?
My bold prediction this week, 14 games playing this week, only 3 home teams will win this weekend.
Wow.
A lot of chalk on the road. If you look at the lines like we do, there's a lot of chalk on the road. And I'm going only 3 home teams win this weekend. I'm not going to tell you which ones, but
Coach, you're
I'm going to tell you one. It's not the Miami Dolphins. Go Giants.
Okay. Yeah, I disagree with that. But go ahead, Coach. What's your bold prediction?
The Giants win today in Miami.
Coach, that's your freaking bold prediction every week, and they're 3-9.
Of course it is. Why isn't it? Why can't I?
A bold prediction every week. That's why. So it just Giants are going to win.
All right. Well, how about this? Here you go. I'll change it. Kansas City Chiefs win the West.
That's not a bold prediction either. They're the first place in the West. That's the obvious prediction.
Yes. Okay.
So, like we said, Stizz, my bold prediction last week, Coach wouldn't have his bold prediction ready this week. Another hit. So I got hit too.
Here we go. We got the insider. We got the insider down low. Jamal Williams, Bill, I'm listening to you. What's he get today? What's the bold prediction? I'm looking for some yardage, some touchdowns, some receptions, 20-plus fantasy points.
Oh, 20-plus fantasy. And then look at that. Taylor Heinicke's first 300-yard passing game today against the Raiders.
Jamie put a bold prediction out too.
Nice.
Coach, you want to take us out? All
right, everyone. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. Good luck on your picks, and we'll see you tomorrow.